This problem is from the textbook. It's page 586, problem number 1. The table represents a proportional relationship. Write an equation that describes the relationship, then graph the relationship represented by the data. And then they give us the data over here with the time and the distance. Okay, so first thing is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to figure out what the proportional relationship is. Okay, and we can go back to when we found our constant of proportionality. And if you recall what that is, that's when our k is equal to our y over our x. So in this case right here, our y, like in this first one, would be 3, and then our x would be our 6. So we would simplify that and get 1/2. And what you'll notice is if I do it for the next one, I put a 4 over 8, I'll get a 1/2. And if I do it for the next one, 5 over 10, I'll still get a 1/2. So each of those are going to have a k of 1/2, even with the 6 over 12. Okay, so our k, our constant of proportionality, is going to be 1/2. And what they're asking us to do is to go ahead and write an equation. Remember that our equation, we had a formula that said y is equal to kx. So if our k is 1/2, we're just going to replace the k with a half, and then put the x after it. And then I'm going to go ahead, I'll circle that. That's going to be our equation. So that's the first part. Now the second part is, it says that let's graph the relationship represented by the data. So we can just go ahead and graph those points. Now, one thing we got to be careful of when we're graphing, take a look at what you're numbering by. Like for example, on the time axes, it looks like they're going by 2s, and then if you go on the distance one, it looks like they're going by 1. So we've got to be real careful about when we go ahead and plot points. So I'm going to start with the time. It says 6, so we're going to go over to 6, which is here, and then with the distance, it looks like it's going to go up to 3. Okay, so go right to here. I'm going to plot a point, plot it right there. Our next one's going to be 8, 4, so we go 8, and then we're going to go up to 4. Our next one's going to be 5, 10. So, but we're going to go 10 over first and then 5 up. And then our last one's going to be 12, 6. So we go 12 and then 6 right here. Okay, so then graph the relationship. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put a line in there. Let's see if we can find, here's the line. And what you're going to notice is, let's see if we can get this pretty exact. Yeah, worked out really nice. Okay, we have this line that I just put in there. And the one thing I do want you to notice is, take a look at where it crosses. Okay, so this line goes ahead and it meets at this point, which is our origin. Okay, and our origin is usually 0, 0. That's how we name it. And I think that's going to be about it on this one because they asked us to write an equation. We've got that written down, and then we have our graph on there showing the relationship between the datas. So we should be okay.